And good morning and welcome to Your Vote Counts. I'm him, and this is Jon Echols and Jason Dunnington. Hey, listen, it's game time, all right? Throw out the first ball, right? Baseball sort of analogy. First session, 59th legislature. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to be a great day on Monday. We're going to have the State of the State address from the governor. It'll be on the floor of the House of Representatives. Great time to hear what the executive branch's kind of vision is for this session. You can watch that on OETA. And then you're going to have the legislature chime in and get right to work, committee work, floor work this week. One of the things that I'm really hoping to see happen in these first 2 weeks is something the legislature did not get accomplished in special session with the ARPA funding. There was about $100 million that was going to go to nonprofits in the state of Oklahoma. That money got held up. We'd really like to see a vote on that money in the first couple of weeks, push that money out to the nonprofits, let them start helping Oklahoma citizens.
Now, this is your 75th session, something like that. So you're looking at this from, it's going to be your last two sessions. Your thoughts about the 59th and how it's different than earlier?
Yeah, this will be my last two sessions, 8 years as floor leader and 12 years in the House, and I'm excited. There's always so much energy when you get started, so much opportunity to do good things for the citizens of the state of Oklahoma. We're going to kick off on Monday with the State of the Address, where the governor's going to give us his vision, and then we're off to the races. We have long-term leadership in the House and in the Senate right now, and I think what you're going to see after a campaign season, that session, members have been on the door. We've heard from the voters. It's time to accomplish their goals. More education funding, more parental choice, more tax cuts, strong economic environment. That's what I hope you're going to get out of this session. Okay,
so there are a lot of members in the House and the Senate, but people look at the leadership. I mean, that's where the media goes. That's where people look at a session and go, this is how it's going. Let's talk about some of the leadership. It's the old and the new.
Well, we have very stable leadership at the top parts. Speaker Charles McCall, longest serving speaker in the history of the state of Oklahoma. Pro Tem Greg Treat does a phenomenal job in the Senate. We've got the governor coming back for a second term. But there are two new players to watch. Attorney General Gittner Drummond is doing a phenomenal job. He has got out serious on policy. He is saying he is there to root out corruption, and I'm going to work with him on some anti-medical marijuana for these illegal grows that are out there. And then we have Superintendent Ryan Walters. I said last week, and I stand by it, his new reading initiative is phenomenal, and we need to support that. And I think the new players are ready to go, without even mentioning our new minority leaders, Cindy Munson in the House, who I think is ready for prime time, going to do a great job.
And they were on a hot seat yesterday.
Yep.
So exactly. So anyway, Tom Brady last week, him this year, the big retirements coming up. So there are some changes coming in the league players.
Yeah, there's some changes coming. I think some of those changes are at the state level. I would agree with my colleague. You've got Superintendent Ryan Walters, who came back a second week to give his budget proposal this week. He can't stay out of the news right now. I'm not sure if that's his tact or not, but he's definitely going to be a new player on it. And then you've got the Attorney General, Gittner Drummond, who has made a plan right out of the gate to root out corruption. He's already brought forward a number of cases and dismissed a few others. You're going to have the consistent with Speaker McCall and Pro Tem Greg Treat. How they get along and move their plan with the executive branch, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, well, get your popcorn. So after the pomp and circumstance, there will be a lot of work to get done, and we're talking about that when we come back. And welcome back. You know what Coach Belichick says? Do your job, right? I mean, Hump TJ, the Super Bowl wins. I guess that kind of works, but all the pomp and circumstance Monday, tomorrow, but then when it comes right down to it, people have got to do their job. What is the work out there this year?
Well, we are coming off an election cycle where we know what the citizens of the state of Oklahoma have asked us to do. So I said this last week. I believe this legislature is pass-fail. We pass tax cuts. Citizens pay less taxes than they did before session, or we don't. Now, in addition to that, citizens want us to fund education. I'm hoping we have another just historic run that we've had under our leadership team for more education funding and more parental choice. On top of that, with economic growth, where we rework what we've done last year to increase the degree programs that we need, continue to grow a strong economy, I think it's going to be a great session on serious policy issues.
Well, that's a lot right there. What do you think the work's going to be like?
Well, I hope we have a serious session on serious policy issues. Having read all 3,000 and some bills, we've probably got 300 or 400 bills that I would put in the category of culture wars. I would love to see us just pass over that and focus on serious things. I've talked about on this show two different things: stewardship and investment. Stewardship, we need to make sure that we are saving for the future. We need to make sure that anything we do on taxes that we're doing in a form of a rebate and not just cutting taxes where we won't be able to add that revenue in the future. And investment, we need to invest in education, invest in infrastructure, invest in opportunity in our state, and we can do that in a responsible way.
Okay, so when the first session of the 59th is over, it's going to be June, okay? So let's take a look into the crystal ball, and what is the world going to look like on June 1st?
Well, we'll be done with the first half of the 59th legislature. What I think you're going to see is, I definitely think you're going to see some education reform. What that final outlook is, I'm not really sure. There's still some differing opinions from the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. Don't forget that there were a number of outside groups that spent a lot of money in this election cycle against a number of members on education policy, so let's put that in there. I do think you'll see some movement on taxes. Whether or not we end up with a grocery tax or not, we'll have to see, but having two teenagers that eat everything out of my refrigerator, I wouldn't be sad if we had no grocery tax.
Understand that. There was an interesting report by Loft on taxes. Mr. Leader, look into the crystal ball and tell us what's going to be like, what's going to happen on June the 1st.
Well, here's what I hope is going to happen on June the 1st, and I'm going to make this prediction. I think three leaders are going to emerge: Speaker Charles McCall, Pro Tem Greg Treat, and Governor Kevin Stitt. I think they're going to come out, they're going to fight for their agendas, but we're going to pass an Oklahoma-driven agenda. I do think we're going to find a way to have historic investments in public education, along with more parental choice. I do think we are going to push back on a D.C. and a national culture that doesn't represent Oklahoma values, and we're going to push back this next session. But that's what I anticipate is going to come, and I'm really excited to play this back in June and see if our predictions were right.
Okay, we will do that. All right, well, good luck tomorrow. Hey, thanks for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com/YourVoteCounts.